It's now time for our main event with your host, Chris Tetrold Blaine. Welcome to Once Upon a Turnbuckle.
Welcome to another very special episode of Once Upon a Turnbuckle. And looking outside today, summer is well and truly over, as you can agree. But things in the Karnage camp are heating right up as we race towards their second show at the end of this month. And I'm thrilled to welcome another face from the Pro Wrestling Karnage camp, but someone who's not only known for the match he's had with Karnage, but he's made a name for himself across other indie promotions here across Britain. You look like you're doubting yourself already, don't?
I think a lot.
And he's also a fellow podcaster as well, with a show on Powered 4 TV, no doubt, which is brilliant. So I welcome, I've got this written down, the beer drinking, heavy metal listening, bold-headed brawler, Cueball. Welcome to the show.
Chris, thank you very much for having me on. Yeah, thank you very much for having me on, man. It's the first time I've done this in a while. You brought me back to this screen, camera. Yeah, this realm. Yeah.
This realm of 2D people rather than, sort of in the flesh.
Yeah, it's weird, I can't shake your hand or it's cool. But yeah, nonetheless, there we go. Nonetheless, thanks for having me, man.
No worries. No, I look forward to all of these, but I've also watched some of your podcasts as well, so I know this is going to be a laugh, for one reason or another. And I suppose let's get right into it. Let's, as I normally do, let's set the scene, as it were, in terms of wrestling and yourself. Where did it all begin for you? When did you first discover wrestling, way back, even before you had any thoughts of getting in the ring?
It's probably the same. Can we swear on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's probably the same ridiculous. It's not ridiculous though, is it? It's just probably the same story as every. I will try not to swear because I have a bit. Same story as everybody else, They was at home as a kid, obviously, and it was on a TV, and they seen a wrestler, and they was like, "Oh, I want to do that." That's pretty much my story.
Cool.
Just sat down at my auntie and uncle's, watching wrestling on Channel 4, I believe at the time it was.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I get the idea of what era this was.
Attitude Era just came into the Attitude Era kind of thing. My first memories are Undertaker, because he's my all-time favorite wrestler. He's a badass, he's awesome.
Yeah.
And when Kane came in, his, stepbrother, half brother, Kane is alive, and all that. And that's my memories. And I watched them two doing their thing, and I was like, yeah, I want to be doing that.
Cool.
Fast forward, years and years down the line, and here we are today.
Cool. So and it's a bit different actually than some of the others, because I think where I've had, not saying you're by any means old or anything like that, but some of the younger guys who they started watching in a different kind of era, one that I couldn't really relate to. You're exactly there, and I can totally relate to the impact the Undertaker and Kane had right at the beginning. Yeah. Nobody cited the Undertaker, I don't think, since I started doing this as being sort of a favorite or one that really hooked him in.
Oh, he is. He's a favorite. And Kane, you got your Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Steve Austin, The Rock. You got all of them. But Undertaker, he's my homie. Or if I can say that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just did.
I got to say, he is one of the. I'd say the only one who's kept himself relevant for over 30 years. The others may have stuck around in some capacity and tried to keep it going, but I think he's the only one that seemed to do it at top level for that long.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so back in those days then, was there a particular match event? Obviously, we've mentioned who the stars were that hooked you in, but was there a particular match that really sort of turned your attention to, like, I need to watch this?
Yeah,
I need to carry on.
No. So a lot of people will say, you know, if they say the Undertaker, for example, they will say the match Undertaker and Mankind. But for me, it was not. You know, it's an awesome match. Don't get me wrong, for what it is.
Yeah.
But mine was the Bad Blood. You know, it was
Yeah.
Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Hell in a Cell,
Yeah.
and that's when Kane debuted.
Yeah.
How awesome was that?
That was very cool.
That had me, that 3-year-old kid or however old it was, that had me. I was like, whoa, this is better than EastEnders. You know, I didn't know what EastEnders was, but you know.
No, you let your secret out there. No, come on.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, I don't watch it, honestly. But that was it. That had me hooked straight away. And then just every week I'd want to watch it. I need to watch this now. And the excitement you have as a kid just watching something like that, because obviously we're kids, we don't know anything really. Let's face it, you know, no. It's just like watching a cartoon.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be hooked. And the story that built between the Undertaker and Kane, you know, to the WrestleMania essentially, WrestleMania match.
Yeah,
it was just phenomenal. I think they haven't done anything as great as that since then. Maybe The Fiend, I would say The Fiend had a really good story, but you know,
it's the slow burn, isn't it? That's what I miss from the old days. I think where they didn't have a pay-per-view or they didn't have a pay-per-view every month. They didn't even have a show every week, and they built a storyline over like 3, 4, 5 months for an event. I know back along, I wasn't watching it at the time, but when they built up, they announced The Rock and Cena for WrestleMania a year beforehand.
Once in a lifetime, or was it
Part 2? No. But it's like, you know, do you really need to? They didn't really build that, I don't believe, over the whole year. But you know, I don't think it added to it. They didn't. You know, there wasn't there was hype around it when it happened, I suppose, because it was. You know,
it's basically movie star versus movie star, and everybody wants to kick ass, basically.
Yeah. But no, it's that again telling the story. You're right. That really was missing. So from there, then, when was it that you first had the inclination that you seriously wanted to pursue wrestling yourself and sort of start training and getting in
there? From a young age, again, just watching it, you know, like during school as well, they'd always be like, so I'm not gonna say my real name because we don't need to know my real name. So Cueball, what do you want to be when you're older? I want to be a wrestler. Yeah, but that's not a real job though. You know, you need to be working in Morrison's, or you need to. No, I want to be a wrestler. But you can't. Yes, I fucking can. You know, and all that. But yeah, I just wanted to be a wrestler from a young age. That's all I wanted to do. And you know, I went to my first indie show, February 2009, which was Pro EVW, which is now Evolution Wrestling. Doing fantastic things right now. Doing amazing.
Yeah.
It's on a Saturday night in Tewkesbury, where I come from, and they have posters up in the venue saying, "Do you want to, you know the generic like become a pro wrestler? Come to this venue on Sunday." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So that's what I done. Turned up to Hampstead Village Hall in Gloucester, and that's where my journey began. Gilligan Gordon was there. He was one of the trainers at the time. T-Bone was a regular trainer at the time. Mad Dog Max would turn up eventually. Somebody else, but we will not mention his name purely for recent things. But that's where it began for me. Back in February 2009, and now I'm here.
Cool. There's obviously a bit to unpack in between, because I'm sure you didn't just come from the training school to sitting in that chair. It might be the same chair, not sure.
I'm in the chair, yeah.
So your early experiences when you started training. Obvious question: do you remember your first bump?
Oh God, yeah. Winded. But it's the fear as well, because you got to be able to chuck yourself backwards. Yeah, essentially a back bump. You got to be able to chuck yourself backwards in the right position without your body going, kind of thing. And be able to sort of throw yourself, to do a front bump, be able to teach yourself to do flip bumps. And naturally your body's like, hell no, I ain't doing that shit.
It's overcoming an instinct, isn't it? Yeah. I never thought of that.
You just got to be able to do it. But when it was in stages, you sort of sit down and you sort of learn the motion, the way you need to sort of land, your arms spread out and, just so you know how to land.
Yeah.
You know, you learn that bit. You start from squatting, and then you just roll backwards again. You know, to get the motion, squatting, and just sort of jumping a little, and gradually just go up and up and down until you just chuck yourself backwards.
Wow.
Take your first bump, Cueball, or JP, whatever you want to call me back then, because and I felt that. But you know, I love it. I loved it back then, and it's I'm not. Go on, sorry.
I was going to say you obviously you went back for more.
I did. Yeah, weird that, isn't it? It's weird what we do.
It's the one thing I hear from everywhere. Every single person I've interviewed from this, it's like that first instance that they took that first bump, they performed that first move or whatever, even though it's a move to hurt you, really.
Yeah,
it becomes addictive almost.
Have you ever done anything like this, Chris? Just wondering.
No, I would have loved to. It's my boyhood dream going into Shawn Michaels mode now, but no, I never did.
Why not? Just because?
Well, I mean, I could make an excuse and say logistics. You know, the first time I saw anything about training school, same way that Cayman did, really. It was an ad in the back of Power Slam magazine for training school that Hammerlock were doing.
Yeah.
I was in Basingstoke at the time. That was in Kent. I had no way of getting there. We had no car or anything like that.
Yeah.
When I went to uni in Stoke, there was a wrestling school in Wigan that I found out about, not a million miles away. And I used the distance as the reason for me not to do it and how much money it's just going to cost. And I don't think I didn't have anyone around me that encouraged me to do it either. In fact, I probably had the opposite. I had people telling me not to do it. So that's just me. I didn't have the drive to sort of prove them wrong, I suppose.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, I would say nowadays it's a lot easier to be able to go to a training school because there's one literally outside your door everywhere you go. Yeah. Whereas you're looking 10, 15 years ago, you know, when we would have been younger, it wasn't as it's not
accessible.
I was fortunate enough. The promoter of Pro EVW, which is still the promoter now, he would always come and pick me up Sunday mornings and bring me back. I was lucky, you know. So, but yeah, it wasn't easy for everybody. But nowadays, it's a hell of a lot easier. And I would, you know, I've always said to people like nowadays, if they ask for some advice, I'd always say don't stick to one training school because no matter where you go, you will learn something different.
Sure.
The trainers have been taught in different ways. Like if I've helped people with bumps or something, there's a bump that I like to do. It's called a side bump. You know, it's just basically just an elbow drop. But some people are like, "Whoa, I've never seen that." It's like, there you go. You know, just something silly, you know, like that. But they've never seen it because it's something that's not necessarily done much nowadays. But
do you find so obviously, you know, you've gone through the training, you're now performing in that yourself. Do you find you're still learning at a show? You can pick something up at a show that you're on from someone else still.
Oh yeah, definitely. You will never stop learning. You'll hear it from all like the wrestling veterans as well. Like, you know, you've had a couple on your podcast, on your shows. You know, I've had a couple on mine. You know, they're in their 70s, they're old and all that now. They're veterans, and they even say now, you know, you will always continue to learn in wrestling. It's a weird thing, you know. Sometimes, you know, when I was younger, you know, you're young and naive and all that. You know, you think you know the shit, but it's like, actually, man, you don't know what you're doing. No. So you will always, you always learn, even if it might not be the wrestling side of things per se. It's, you know, just the way you interact with the crowd. You know, just putting yourself over, helping get that guy over, and not being selfish, basically, because a lot of guys will think about themselves, where it's like, you know, you're a team, you need to be helping each other out. If you're the good guy, you need to be putting that bad guy over, and vice versa. And I ramble too much, and that's why my podcast called People with Rambles.
There we go. We will come to that. It's a great podcast. But yes, it's one of those that it's probably a lot like mine, where it just kind of goes off in all types of directions. But
yeah, I mean, if I do ramble too much, just say Cueball, man.
No, not at all. I've got the recording button still on. As long as I've got that, I'm going to capture everything you say.
I can see in the corner.
So let's talk about you in the ring then. So give everyone a flavour of who Cueball is in the ring. You know, what sort of persona have you got? Is it yourself, basically? Do you not actually come out of character?
No. I'm a believer in characters. You know, I'd say I like kayfabe, so I'm not going to say my real name.
No.
I am X. You know, I'm JP, as some people like to know me as. I'm JP amped up to 11 kind of thing. So I've had three, in my time of wrestling, I've had three different gimmicks, right? So when I first started, I was called the Insane Star JP. You know, just saying it is a part of me. It was a nutty side of me. You know, I wore face paint. I was like flamboyant. I was like, you know, you couldn't miss me. So that was me. I was the wacky side of me. Then I had another gimmick called Alistair Michelson. That was the dark sides, you know, that's the whole like, you know, depressed kind of sort of side of me, just bringing it to life kind of thing, the dark demonic kind of character, and that didn't work. And then now on Cueball, this is the more, I would say the more confident, a little bit cocky, a little bit of an a-hole. That would some people already be watching this thinking, yeah, he actually is a bit of an asshole. I'm a lovely guy, but you know, but that this is Cueball, confident. I like to have fun in the ring, by also kicking ass. I like to interact with the crowd. I am a firm believer in crowd work, which is a lost art in my opinion in this nowadays wrestling. Which I'm not on here to disrespect anybody. Everybody has their opinions. They're like bumholes, if you will.
This whole podcast came out of my distaste for a certain thread that was going on in a certain promotion last year. So, you know, no, I don't make any bones about the fact that it's a lot different and things are missing these days. So just go ahead.
But I will say, I listened to a podcast back last year, and somebody called the Whiskey Chaser Martin Grant described wrestling in a really good way. He said wrestling is like a circus. There's one thing for everybody, or there's something for everybody, and that I was like, that's really good. I like that, and that's always something that's stuck, you know. And I've always been a firm believer in crowd work. So yeah, I mean, if you kind of like a bit of a cocky character who likes to have a laugh, puts a bit of comedy in his matches, but also can kick ass, then I'm a guy. Cool. Follow my page on Facebook and see stuff that I've done in the past, and I don't know.
So it's your style then. Obviously, you know, I called you at the beginning, like I've heard you call yourself a ball-headed brawler. So have you got someone in particular, or a few people in particular, that have influenced your style in the ring, or is it something that you've honed yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I got a bit of Undertaker in there. I got a bit of Kane, a bit of Steve Austin, if you will. I mean, I do like to brawl because that's just something that's easy for me to do. I'm not a technician in any way. You know, I can do the basics, but I'm not, you know, like all these world-class wrestlers and these world-class, like, independent wrestlers, you know, that they put on some phenomenal matches by doing technical work. I know a wrestler who can just do technical wrestling and still have the crowd in the palm of their hands. It's brilliant. I love it. You know, it's great to see, but me, I like to bring something different to the table. So I'm just a brawler. I'll go in there, punch. Then that's just me. Excitement.
It's that balance. And I've said this, you know, countless times, is if you have a show filled with all these acrobatics and, you know, it's really good the first time around, but if you're on the fifth match and it's still the same thing, you get a little bored of it. And, you know, definitely. The era that I grew up in, you had a bit of everything. You know, you had the guys that could really wrestle, and then you had the big guys that could barely move, or you had the guys that just wanted to use chairs and whatever. And you know.
I mean, like I say, you know, on a typical card, wrestling card, you'll have about 6 matches. You'll probably find about 3 or 4 of them. They'll start off with, Connor and Albert tie up. Okay, headlock, wrist lock, waist lock, hammer lock, woo, done. International spot, done. That's what you'll see. But with me, it's like, nah, I'm gonna batter you for a bit, and you know, all that, and that's it. You know, I'm full of surprises.
I was watching your match with Big D earlier, where you went out of the venue and you jumped over like a picnic bench over at him. You know,
it needs to be done. He's a big guy. I need something to work. And I was like, park bench, up that crossbody, boom, it worked.
Yeah, it did.
But you know, spoiler alert, he beat me. But there we go. It is what it is.
It's not always the result, is it? It's not always the result that matters. It's what you. It's sending everyone home happy.
Exactly. It worked. We had everybody out of that venue come and watch just for 2 minutes part in our match, and it was brilliant just to see that.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
That's all right. No. A question that I do normally have at the end, just as one of the sort of, almost like quick fire ones, but I'll bring it out here. For you as a wrestler, in your time in the ring so far, is there a match that you've been involved in which really ranks up there is like one of your favorites, or one that you feel was your best one?
Yeah.
You've had that many, you're just trying to whittle them down. I know.
Yeah, I'm trying to just think throughout my entire kind of time in the ring. I would say the best matches I've had is as Cueball. Where I was young when I was doing the Insane Star and all that, and so I was just green as grass, they say. But now I've sort of learned, I've learned from like speaking to different guys throughout lockdown as well. I would say my best matches I've had are now, since I've come back from lockdown as well, against like Stevie Jones and Nephilim in Ring Wrestling Stars. I think we've put on some good matches. So it's in terms of storylines and just the way the whole match has gone. I'm not a 5-star classic kind of guy. I'm not the best wrestler you're gonna ever see, but I entertain. I don't really, I'm a wrestling entertainer. That's what I am. I entertain, and if I feel like the crowd are behind me throughout the whole match, or the crowd are booing me, I've done my job. And that means more to me than putting on a 5-star classic match, in my opinion.
No, that's
I would say Cueball versus Stevie Jones and Nephilim is probably one of my top matches.
Cool.
Which are on YouTube, so if you want to search.
Just about to ask, is that out there for people to enjoy?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What I'll do is I'll try find the link, or if you've got it, ping it over, and I'll put it in the it in the notes when this goes out, so everyone can enjoy that one. So, cool. Skipping ahead just a little bit, really. I again, I said at the beginning, I don't tend to stick to a train of thought. I just kind of go wherever it takes me. So, thinking what you would like to achieve in wrestling, then I'm not going to put a time scale. Where are you going to be in 5-10 years time or whatever? What would you want to achieve? Which would be what you would consider your pinnacle of your career? I
mean, I'm not one of these guys who wants to go to WWE or the big leagues or AEW or anything like that. I mean, I'm outside of wrestling. I'm a big family guy. I got my family. Anybody who follows my pages, they will know how much family means to me, and my wife and my kids. I love them. I wouldn't want to leave them. But, if I can sort of make an impact on people's lives around the indie scene, make an impact on some of the up and coming talent, and, the talent that were around, that are still around, when we was younger and all that, then that's what matters to me, is that, and somebody's going, oh yeah, that Cueball guy, he was a decent guy. That means a lot. That means more to me than going to WWE.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
It's not. When I was growing up, I think it was everyone's ambition. If you were going to get in the ring, you were aiming for one place. Possibly two, but you knew the other wasn't really going to stick it. But now there is so much option to go out there. I think you not necessarily got to be tied to. It's not always, in my opinion, it's not the best. I don't feel the best place to be. At the top with WWE. I think there's more exciting places to look that you could be part of. So,
Yeah, definitely. Not if something happens, okay. When WWE came over to the UK, said, Cueball, we'd like you to have a dark match against whoever. Yeah, cool, sure, awesome. Happily love to do that, but it's not something that's on my list to do. It's not a dream, or it's not. Yeah, it'd be a nice bonus, but as long as people could sort of say, that Cueball guy, he was there when we needed somebody, or he was a decent guy to speak to, or he had some good advice, just something like that. That'd be enough for me.
Ah, there you go. You're not getting too soft on it.
No.
No. Okay, let's sort of bring it back under the Carnage banner, because this is obviously part of the reason why we're here.
I was waiting for this. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. So really, where did your involvement, first of all, with Pro Wrestling Carnage come about?
The promoters, they wanted a kick-ass team. They wanted Scare, myself, and Big D. Even though we're not friends in RWS, go figure that one. Oh well.
I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a weird one. He is, Big D. I don't know. We're tag champs in Cirencester Wrestling Federation and Slam Down Wrestling, and we're teaming up in EVM. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird one, and we're teaming up in Carnage. But they wanted a tag team. Like the promoters knew and know who we are. I've known the promoters a long time. I speak to them as well all the time, and they liked what we had to offer, and they said we'd like to invite you to come down to Carnage, put you in a triple threat tag match against Bishop and Bevan, which you've had on, and Necrophago and Flying Grayson, and it would be to become the first ever Carnage Pro Wrestling Carnage tag team champions. Yeah, D, I've been on the phone to management, blah, 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 blah. He was up for it. I was up for it. We, signed our names. We had to get it posted, obviously, because of lockdown, Mumbo Jumbo. We done it. We signed the contracts and went from there. And,
Cool. So, your obviously, let's go to the First Mutation then, the show that, their first show, just trying to get an idea of what the feeling was then in the camp, being the first show. I've said it to a couple of the other guys, and I'm not just saying it because I got the Carnage guys on, but as promotions go, I follow quite a few of the indie ones across the UK, and Pro Wrestling Carnage seem to just have something in place which is, in my mind, setting them almost like they're several steps ahead where they actually are. With what they're putting out. I mean, did you get a feel for that when, on that show? That it was...
Well, you're just saying that because you want to get in there somehow. I know what they're doing. I'm a podcaster too. No, when I first heard of Carnage, and because I knew the promoters, I was excited straight away. Because I think Carnage is going to be the promotion that brings wrestling back to Wales. You got your Welsh wrestling, you can't beat them. No, you just can't beat them because of who they are. But in terms of, push Welsh wrestling aside, you got your Carnage. I think they're gonna grow fast, and I know they've sold out their next show, which is on the 30th of October in Pencoy's Welfare Hall. Cheap plug. That's okay, That's okay, management. Don't worry. I'll
take that one off.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know. They're different. They've got something different going on. I'm excited to sort of see where things go, if you will. I mean, they got great talent. And I'm not just saying that. They have. They've got great talent. But there are a couple of promotions in Wales that can give them a good run for their money.
Yeah.
You got VCW, which is my stomping ground, not being biased, but them. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any more. You got Slammasters Wrestling as well. They're doing something brilliant. Just that. But I think, they got something good going, and I think it could be something brilliant as well.
Yeah. Have you got a role in Carnage from the Crypt? Have I missed something, or are you due to be there?
Wow, can't say.
No,
I don't know.
You don't know.
I know they want us, but they haven't been in contact, and which concerns me because we are 2 weeks away. 2 weeks, I want to say 2 weeks. Yeah, we're 2 weeks away.
There's time yet.
From Carnage at the Crypt or whatever it's bloody called. I don't know. So I don't know. Would you like to see Scared?
Of course, I would.
Yeah, you're just saying that.
And I'm not even there. But
you should be there. You should be there. You should be going and buying a ticket right now.
I should have been. If I don't know what it is. I used to work in logistics, but I will make distance a reason for me not to do something. I'm down in Devon, and you've
had Carnage guys on, so they should be saying something to you about a free ticket. Just gonna put that out there. So if you get
this is I'm gonna snip that to be the clip I use as the trailer. Okay.
All right, fine. Let's do it now. Right. Snip this. Pro Wrestling Karnage management. Why the fudge have you not given this guy a free ticket? He's giving you coverage like I once did. What did I get? A booking. Okay, fair enough. He's had James. No, well, yeah, because he's had James Ellis just recently. That's your new video, by the way, isn't it? Cheap plug. You've had superstar Jimmy Taylor. You've had Chris Bevan, which is the Pro Wrestling Karnage Tag Team Champion. You've had coverage. You've had it all. You've even had the Pro Wrestling Karnage World Heavyweight Champion Cayman on, and he's not getting anything out of this. Give him something now. And scene. There we go. Sorry.
Ideal. No, ideal. I love that. I'm going to put that everywhere. So,
yay.
let's see what comes of that. But let's go to our common ground now.
Yeah.
So obviously you're as well as a wrestler, which I'm very into. I'm also into podcasting, obviously, as are you.
Oh.
I thought we just having a chat. No. So yes, you have Cueball's Bearded Rambles, which is a cracking podcast. I haven't gone through.
Thank you.
I haven't scratched the surface with it yet, but you're great to listen to, as you are great to talk to. You've had some cracking guests on, so let's talk about firstly how, where, why. Sounded a little bit like Cayman now, but how when did you decide you were going to do a podcast and why?
I decided I was going to do it during the first lockdown of the pandemic for this goddamn coronavirus. Why? Because I was bored and there was too much negativity going around, so I wanted to bring some positivity into the wrestling world. Why the hell not? Yeah. And one thing led to another. I actually started doing them on Instagram Live, but you need to get a bit better with this, Cueball. You need to. It was supposed to be a one-off. It genuinely was.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I quite enjoyed that. I quite enjoyed doing that. And then I found Zoom. What we're doing now on Zoom. Hi, Zoom. Started doing that, and you'll see my first video with Big D. And you got to pay for Zoom, by the way. I don't know if you know, I had to. So I had my phone just recording it like this. It's disgusting. The quality of it is disgusting, honestly. Right. But it was fun. It was fun learning a bit more about Big D, about his past, how and why he gets into wrestling.
Yeah.
But then, I was like, I'm going to pay for this. I'm just going to put my card details in and we're going to pay for this. And then, you get like you probably would have yourself. Ooh, can I come on your podcast? And I just had that, and I just started messaging people. Do you want to come on, speak about your time? Because I seen as, like myself, we were stuck indoors. We couldn't be wrestlers, so we had to just sit there, hoping we wasn't going to get coronavirus and just live our lives doing nothing. So I used to I just messaged around people saying that, do you want to come on the podcast? Half an hour, just be your gimmick. Dress up, just promote yourself, keep yourself relevant, and we'll talk about yourself just so people can learn a bit more who is behind the character. People liked it, and for some reason people loved watching it. I don't know why, but listening to somebody whose vocabulary is awful, and
I get stuck for words. What I like about it, and we were talking about this just before we came on, actually.
No, we didn't. We don't feel that.
All right, we didn't talk about anything. Right, that kind of knackers the next part that I was going on to because I can't. Anyway, it's you can watch 2 or 3 interviews with same person that have done different podcasts, but you have different angles, different questions that are asked, and I love the banter in yours.
I got it. You could. Yeah. As with some people, it's a bit awkward. It came first, like, so, like, Punters, how's it going? Blah, 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 blah. My guest at this time is Phenomenal. Yeah. And they're like,
yeah.
Right, how's it going? It's like, all right, come on. No, I'm trying to get a bit more out of you than, all right, You
don't get that initial bit in that, like, straight after that intro, that kind of can kill it.
It does, yeah. You're all like, wait, I'm all like this. Fine, yeah. How and why did you get into wrestling? But having banter, it just makes things less awkward.
Yeah.
You kind of get to a vibe of somebody as well. Then if they don't want to be around, then you kind of know, and it's like, yeah, okay, we're gonna end that.
Yeah, okay.
Never happened, thankfully.
I have watched some. What I wanted to do or not to do, I suppose, when I got into podcasting. Well, firstly, mine started off just as a solo thing. I didn't have envisaged talking to anyone. It just wanted it to be me because I was too nervous to record myself, talking to people.
Oh God, yeah, definitely, yeah.
But I've listened to podcasts where it's literally a string of questions. There's nothing in between. The answer's given, they move on to the next one. And, it just doesn't really gel. And I thought, if I can get to a stage where it can just be like a chat over a pint, I find that a lot better, a lot nicer to listen to.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the guests. I put you on the spot, really. Some of your favorite or most memorable guests that you've had on so far.
Favorite guests? Randy Hogan, former NWA, WCW. Yeah. He is a bit of a former WWF or superstar, but he doesn't like to say he is. But he was brilliant to have on. It was he's such a nice guy, such a gentleman. I still speak to him now over Facebook Messenger if I check in, and phenomenal. Just a gentleman, pure gentleman. Frank Reyes, he was a referee for WCW and places like that, WWE, WWF, whatever, Cool. My coach for VCW, he actually got trained by him as well, I believe. Andrew, I'm sorry if I was wrong because I can't remember. Andrew James as well, the owner of VCW. It's good to listen to his backstory of how he got into wrestling. Duke the Dumpster Droese, lovely guy. Having him on it is good to hear it. Cayman, I've known Cayman for a long time. Me and Cayman go way back.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just say I haven't got a specific favorite. Everybody I have had on, they've always brought something that I've always thought I enjoyed listening. I love listening to people's stories because some of them are so unique.
Yeah.
It's like listening to Robbie McAllister. I had him on, phenomenal guy. I love him.
It's like looking in the mirror, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I mean, if he ever came over to the UK, brilliant. We could just be like Highlanders 2.0.
Be the Highlanders Mark 2, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. I'm the better looking one though. But everybody I've had on, they've all been great in their own way. Some people I'm going to be bringing back on. Some people are not wrestlers. I tried to bring on people outside of wrestling. Like I've had a tattoo artist on, and she described what it was like being a tattoo artist, how she broke into the industry, and it's interesting. Just for something to learn, just to listen to. Sorry, and learn. I've had musicians on, because I know nothing about musicians. So trying to talk the music, to talking to them, and I was like, I don't really know what to ask you guys, but it's okay. It's kind of the same thing, and it's just interesting. It's just different.
I did that with my other podcast, and it was more. I started that one first because I did a bit of writing and whatever, and I was very much in that vein. So I was talking to authors and whatever, and I brought on musicians. And it's completely different to doing this. Really, because I do have to have something to go on with those because I'm not in that realm. I'm not in the wrestling industry, but I've grown up with it. I can carry a conversation about it. You know. But the others, I really had to kind of try to build something up so that I could be in their shoes almost and know sort of how to talk to them. It's like with me, like with the musicians, like, so guitars, you strum them. How did you start doing that? Okay, drums. You do that with them. Okay, cool. It's quite difficult, but we got through it because of the banter. We got through it. It's all good. It was okay. So in terms of favorite, everybody. Diplomatic. Duke Droese. I will.
You had him on as well, haven't you?
He was the first guest I had. He's the second one that I released, but he was the first guest I recorded with. And I remember that I was just by chance, I'd spotted him in a Facebook group. Yeah. Pinged him a message and he actually responded and I couldn't believe it.
Oh, I know you like.
You
Oh
know,
God.
yeah, exactly. It
Thing.
was a bit like that. I went to sleep with a real smile on my face. But the night that we did it is because he did it right before his podcast. So this was like midnight over here.
Crash Cam Live.
Yeah, he was doing that. It was like that was the latest I've ever stayed up, and I was dead on my feet. I was like, I can't screw this one up.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's more pressure having guys on like him. When it's your friend, like, oh, all right, but but with guys like him, you're like shirt and tie, and
you can't
make sure the hair's okay, and and all that.
You got to feel like you got to know your stuff, But at the end of the day, I think you're all fans anyway, aren't you? Whether they've been in the ring or not, we've always got that, something to talk about. So
yeah, definitely.
So, but any plans to bring it back? Because I know you've been on a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I went on a break. Why? Well, like I said to you before we started, I felt like I just burned the candle out on both ends of it. I had a bit of a break and I came back and thought, because I try to do 10 episodes per series or 10 to 15 episodes per series kind of thing. And I made, I think, about 5 episodes. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done now. Yeah. My last interview was with Robbie McAllister, I think. Okay. I can't quite remember, sorry. Not because of what anything he done, it's just because I've just felt like I can't be asked to edit this anymore, because it takes yourself, it probably takes a few minutes to edit it, and then you get it out there, and you kind of get a little bit disheartened when you've had one view in like 2 hours. Like, come on, man.
You just
trying to push past that. And then mental health is a big factor in my podcast as well. That kicked in. It's like, I just need to. And then shows started coming back regularly again. I was like, I can't balance family life and work life and wrestling life. I need to just give something up for a bit. But never fear, because you guys will hear the punters. How is it going again from November the 1st?
Awesome. Cool. There you go. Drop the date. Awesome. Well, there we go. So something to look forward to. It's given me time then to catch up with, go through more of your back catalogue before that. So
if you want to, it's up to you. I won't be offended if you don't.
there's a lot on there that I
64 episodes.
There's a lot for us to delve into. One of the ones that I have watched recently, mainly because I also have him coming on in the next couple of weeks, is Endless Lee. I had to kind of prepare myself for that one, so that'll be interesting. I know. Anyway,
that's going to be a good one for you.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a different one. It really is. Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be quite unique. By the looks of it.
Let's say unique. Yeah, bless him. No, good kid. Yeah.
So let's finish off with just a couple of my favourite go-to sort of final questions, as it were. I've already pelted a couple at you. So sort of as a fan, then putting yourself back in your fan's shoes, if you've got a go-to match, although I've already kind of asked this before, put in the Hell in the Cell aside, because I want a different answer.
All right, fair enough.
One match that you could go back to and just what if you could watch one match over and over and over again for the rest of your life.
Oh God, that's a question on the spot. That is.
I kind of had to change that because I realised I've already asked that one.
Yeah. Obviously, like I said, originally it's the Undertaker Shawn Michaels thing.
Yeah.
Nowhere. I was like, oh fucking hell. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I swore. Don't worry. There we go. I knew I would.
That's the parental advisory sticker slapped on this thing now.
Yeah, bang. Copyright. No, that's not copyright, was it? I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'm not really sure. I mean,
not got one that you. I mean, I got I suppose events and matches that at any point I could just pick up and watch them. There's probably not any that I'd watch over and over and over again, but just sort of, if anyone was to say you could watch one match from the past.
Maybe not a match as such, but an event. It's one of my all-time favorite events, which is probably something I'd always go to, is WrestleMania 17.
Okay.
And the Taker Triple H.
Yeah.
You got I believe you had the gimmick battle royal, where like Duke the Dumpster came back and all that.
Yeah, that was the one where Austin turned heel.
Yeah,
wasn't it,
I think that's the right one. Yeah.
It was, even for someone who wasn't really watching it regularly. Yeah, I could appreciate the impact of that one.
Yeah, but that's not a match then, because I can't really think of anything like you really put me on the spot on that one. But pay-per-view WrestleMania 17.
Cool.
Sorry, I can't give you the match.
Don't worry. I will. Let's go to my ultimate favorite. No, actually, no. Sorry, I got a couple left. There's one that I've missed out.
What a time in the world, man.
So if you could have one match with anyone in the wrestling world, I used to painted the scenes like, if you could have a match at WrestleMania, but WrestleMania isn't the be all and end all. I don't feel like it used to be. You can be at WrestleMania if you want, but one match, if you could pick someone to have that one momentous match with, that you could then tell your grandkids about, and you could pick anyone from the wrestling world, past or present, who would it be? And what sort of match, actually, as well?
It probably would be Undertaker as well, to be honest. Okay. One match I'd really love to have is either a casket match or a buried alive match. That's one thing. That's one match I'd love to have. So yeah,
I never quite.
Look at Cueball, he's an Undertaker kid.
I never quite got the buried alive concept, even when they first did it back in
But it's interesting though. I love the illusion.
I suppose. Yeah, it's been one of those, Ian, that I've been kind of like, I don't know if I really buy it. It's good to watch.
Barbed wire match, like AEW did. That was something.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I heard about the one. What was it? The death match they were meant to have.
I think
the explosives didn't.
That was probably it then. Yeah.
Where the explosives didn't quite go off, and it just looked like.
Oh, brilliant! They might as well have people as the sparklers just going.
Okay.
Yeah, against Undertaker, I'd say. A lot of people would probably say like, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, but they're two above me. I feel like I could do something with Taker.
Would you win?
Oh God, no! I wouldn't win. It wouldn't make sense for me to win. It makes sense for him to win, regardless of what age he is. It's fine. He could have to win. I'll let him.
Okay.
He can do me a solid another time.
Yeah,
it's fine.
on a SmackDown or something.
Yeah.
WrestleMania. Yeah. Okay. Right. You thought you'd been put on the spot before, and if you've watched any of my most recent shows, you probably would have been prepared for this. Your wrestling Mount Rushmore. Who would be on it?
Oh, I wonder who's Cueball's Mount Rushmore. I wonder. So obviously we got Undertaker. Yeah. I know I've mentioned him a lot, but there's reasons to. Obviously, not only was he a phenomenal wrestler, but you got to think about the stuff he does backstage, how loyal he was.
Nobody's going to knock you for having him on there, because
his work ethic is. I love his work ethic. And the loyalty. Especially through the WWF era, he stuck with his guns, and he made a name for himself and all that.
He didn't mind putting people over either. I know for the first few years they were trying to depict him as like unbeatable or whatever, but then he did. He did take those losses, and sort of in the later years he really did put some of the younger guys over. He recognized that. And there's others who didn't. Yeah,
like Orton. Orton was a good example of what you just said. He put Orton over. He got kicking off Vince, but then Taker was like, "Wow, he's the future. We got to put him over sometime." And you got someone like him putting someone like that over.
Yeah.
Imagine, just imagine what would have happened if he didn't put him over.
Exactly.
But, Taker on there, not just for the wrestling, but all wrestling.
With you on that.
Kane, and the fact, just because again, the loyalty and how long he was willing to do stuff apart from the Kane gimmick. Isaac Yankem, for example. God. I would say Shawn Michaels as well. Most definitely, his matches he had, especially in his prime as well, and the matches he had with the Rockers as well. They were a lot of people would say Ric Flair. I like Flair, but we'll say Flair. Not outside, because of outside of WWE, all the stuff he done as well. And
Don't feel peer pressure for, for putting
oh
something.
no,
This is your personal one. So
I'm gonna say it's my opinion.
I've been there. But like, well, I should have him. But to be fair, I didn't really enjoy watching them all that much.
Yeah. It is what it is. People don't like it, then tough. Kind of, And the last one. How many heads are on Mount Rushmore? 4. Oh, okay. Well, I've done it then. There we go. Taker, Kane, Shawn Michaels.
I was going to say you can swap. I didn't know. I wasn't convinced with your. I didn't feel the conviction with your Ric Flair. So if you want to swap that for anyone,
it's because everybody. But when I think of it as in terms of like, not just because of what they was like in the ring. I think of it as what they was like outside, from what people know. Yeah. What they was like outside their business and work ethics and all that. But
sure.
Yeah. Cool. I was just trying to think of somebody like lately as well, like Rollins. He, really good, like Styles as well, and yeah. All right. We
should have had an old school one, new generation one.
Yeah. Should have.
We could be all day, but
we could be.
Cool. Listen, Cueball, thank you so much for your time. I often say this, but I really do think that I could have just let this go on for like another couple of hours probably.
But we got real lives. We have to do.
I wouldn't say unfortunately. No, my wife doesn't watch this anyway, but I didn't mean that.
She will now.
But before you go, so where can people find you? Anything you want to plug? Any appearances you've got coming up? Social media? Anything? Floor is yours for a couple of minutes.
Okay, cool. So in terms of social media, I don't have Twitter because it's just toxic. Instagram is my personal one, so no, don't. And you can find me on Facebook. You got a load of stuff on Facebook. You got matches. You got clips from matches. You got clips from stuff I've done throughout lockdown. Like I've done the whole thing with my kids. Like it's called Lockdown Mayhem, where I put my titles on the line. It's like a 24/7 kind of thing. It was fun to do with the kids, awesome. Speaking about mental health as well, just doing live feeds about mental health. I had COVID at the start of this year, so I done something called Cueball's COVID Chronicles, where I was just tasting stuff. I've done a couple of videos on that, like spicy, like wasabi and all that. That was just a bit of fun and entertainment,
I like it.
I got a variety of things on my pages, just doing funny stints and stuff like that. So Cueball, Facebook, like it. I got my YouTube, Cueball's Bearded Rambles. You'll see my podcast on there. You'll see matches on there, other appearances I've been on, different podcasts. Like this one will be in there as well. In terms of appearances, you have Ring Wrestling Stars. Search for them on Facebook. I am, when's the next show? November the 19th, I believe it is, in Blandford Forum, against Big D again. Pro Wrestling Karnage, 30th of October. At Pencoy Welfare Hall. Slammasters Wrestling this Sunday in Pontyclun RFC place thing, whatever it is, and that's about it. I believe for now.
That's enough to let people.
That's it. Yeah, that's enough. Just go on the page. I'll look on there. That'll do. Sorry.
Awesome.
But what I will say is, because you've obviously had me on your podcast, when I get mine up and go in, you're going to come on mine, and we're gonna get behind the man behind Once Upon a Turnbuckle. Just
thank you. Yeah, I'm well up for that. Can't wait for that.
And there we go.
Cool. Well, thank you once again, Cueball. This has been amazing, mate, and I will speak to you again.
Definitely. Thank you very much, man. No, #, yeah.
If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to like, share, and hit the subscribe button. Also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Once Upon a Turnbuckle to keep updated about all future shows.